Hello. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inspiring and assisting in an awesome message.
You know what we're really doing, and we appreciate your appreciation completely. We are just reminding you what you already know in a way that you can allow yourself to remember it. That's all.
Thank you.
We are just reminding you about what you already know in a way that helps you to allow yourself to remember it.
I'm remembering more and more, and
Yes. You have to get, well, you're not really remembering it. That's not really the best word. We are luring you into the vibrational proximity of what you really know, where it can now occur to you real time. Real time.
Thank you for that. What I do for 28 years is fitness and well-being, and I'm still passionate about it. And when I show up to a client or a class, I'm in the vortex, even if I'm not before. And I like to move my clients more into that. And what happened is I'm so much in the vortex, I've been hearing it so much, as you see my hair is in the vortex too. So, so I feel like a tornado where I want to swoop everybody else into it. And
so that's what influence is. You get in the vortex, and your sphere of influence is thousands of times, millions of times more powerful than those who are not. Wow. But they have to be in the proximity. In other words, because if they're way over there and you're in the vortex, then you have to venture out to get them, and then you're not in the vortex. Mm-hmm. So you have to just tend to your own vortex and let law of attraction bring them to you.
Okay, that's my question, because when I show up in that vortex and I hear your voice when you say you're a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed in the vortex is going to be annoying to them if they're not. So I'm in there, come on, visualize your body this, do this, feel yourself, see yourself performing like this. And they're like, be quiet. So I'm like, okay, now if I go where they are, let them come and dance with me. So my whole thing is, okay, come and dance with me. And there's times when I'll tune it down and I'm like, okay, that's not healthy for me. So let me come back in the vortex. And I just can't help it. Like I said, I'm so passionate about it.
Here's the question that we have for you. Mm-hmm. Do they need to behave differently than they sometimes do in order for you to see them as in your vortex version of them? In other words, as they want fitness and don't have it, or as they want stamina and don't have it, or as they want a different form and shape and don't have it. So you, as you interact with them, put a new and improved version of them in your vortex. Do you need them to do what you want them to do in order to believe that version? That's the big question. Well, that's good, because what that means is their behavior, your success at seeing them as you know they want to be is not contingent upon what they do. And that means that's truly what inspiration is. Otherwise, if you're out of the vortex trying to whip them in, that's what motivation is. From outside the vortex prodding them, you're trying to motivate them. That's entirely different. But if you're able to hold a vision of them as you know they want to be, you'll call them in. And they won't balk when you call them in. They only balk when you're trying to motivate them in.
I see.
Don't you know the difference, even when you were kids or even yesterday, of someone offering an example of life and you just wanting to go there, as opposed to someone sort of lecturing you on what you need to do? If someone's telling you what you need to do, you sort of want to tell them to just go away and leave you alone. But if they are inspiring you, it's a whole different thing, isn't it? So you said it very clearly as you sat down. You're in the vortex for the most part. And something that happens to you because you've done it so long and your expectation is so keen, just standing in the vicinity where so much energy has flowed in the past gets you there quickly, just walking in the room and getting into that setting. So why are we having this conversation? In other words, are there any wrinkles that you're wanting to smooth out of it?
Well, I just wanted to get them, as you say, tuned in, tapped in, and turned on, and more. Is there any type of secret to help move them into the vortex more quickly? Because I have an hour with them.
Well, there are two secrets. The first is you got to be in there, and the second is you've got to inspire them in. And you don't have to talk about the vortex in order to do that. But you of course you have to be in there in order to inspire them in. But here's the work that you could do, and it would be fun to choose one or two of your more resistant ones who aren't feeling the inspiration, those that tend to be a little more discouraged and that aren't really feeling the energy in the way you are. Before you show up at the next gathering with them, spend some time envisioning them as the version that's in your vortex. In other words, see them as you know they want to be. Now, we're not talking about seeing them fit. We're not talking about seeing them with the weight reduction or the muscle expansion. We mean seeing them joyfully in the class, seeing them joyfully in the moment, seeing them believing in their body, believing in their stamina, taking pleasure from their body. Seeing them taking pleasure from their body, because you know yourself that when you get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you are asking something of your body and it's delivering it to you, there's a vitality in that that's just hard to beat. In other words, this mind game that we're teaching you is a wonderful thing. But when you get your thoughts aligned with the energy of your body, and now you are, in other words, it's an exhilarating thing to get your thoughts. We've not said this before. It's an exhilarating thing to get your thoughts lined up with the thoughts of your source. That's an exhilarating thing. It's even more exhilarating to get your words lined up with the vibration of your inner being. That's what's going on here. In other words, as Esther is in sync with that which we are and able to find the perfect words to express the energy that we are offering, that's what this dynamic conversation is all about. She's tuned into the energy, so she's able to find the perfect conversation flawlessly, expressing exactly what we mean every single time. You take it a step further with this physical activity. That's what athletes do. That's what the artists that are moving their bodies are all about. When you are tuned in to that energy and allowing it to translate through the rhythm of your body, through the vitality of your body, that's just as good as it gets. To be tuned in to this source energy and allowing it to flow through your physical apparatus. There is just nothing more delicious than to be physically focused and living through the energy of source in the moment, you see. So as you get into that, that's why your vitality is so compelling to those who are watching you. But it's easy for them to believe in your vitality and not believe in their own. It's like watching someone doing an infomercial with a contraption that you know they didn't use to get that body. In other words, they saw that thing yesterday for the first time, and they're proclaiming that it produced that, and you know differently than that often. And so what you're wanting to accomplish with them, this magical thing that you're looking for here, what it really is you knowing so clearly the exhilaration that is there for them once they release the resistance and allow themselves to go with the energy of their own body. And the things that you want to say to them to help them get there faster are, you know why? These are your words to them. You know why I so enjoy working with you? Because I know that every time, what is the group of people that you work most specifically with? Who are they?
Women between the age of 30 and 60.
So you say to them, you know, to any of them, really, you know why I'm enjoying so much interacting with you? Because I know when you didn't have that flexibility, when you felt awkward and unbalanced, when you tried to do that, you put a version of the way your life is supposed to be in a place that I can see it and know it. And I'm going to hold the vision of your potential even though you may not be able to. And you know what my value to you is going to be? I'm going to hold the place of where you belong until you believe it like I believe it.
Okay.
But you got to believe it. You can't fake it. And you got to admit, it's easier with some of them than others.
True.
It's a lot easier for you to believe some of them are going to get what they want than others. And that's why we're having this conversation. And so what we want to convey to you is that with every one of them that comes to your class, whether you like it or not, or whether you meant to do it or not, you put the new and improved version of them there, and you've got to live up to it, or you've got nothing to give them. And so if you want to have some fun, pick a couple of the hard cases, those that are not the easiest ones to believe, and work on seeing them as you know they want to be, and as they are already in your vortex. And as you do, you will witness a different behavior evoked from them, because your power of influence will have further reach. We're not kidding you. That's inspiration at its best, you see. And then you'll hear them say what you said to us when you sat down. And you'll be able to say back to them what we said to you. We're only reminding you of what you already knew. We're just doing it in a way that helps you to remember.
Thank you.
Don't you think anyone would like to know that? Don't you think anyone wants to know? In other words, that's what true faith is. It's so much, that's what true upliftment is. When you know something and you hold someone as your object of attention while you know it, it's much easier for them to know it. If you doubt it while you're looking at them, you've got nothing for them. So you don't want to announce this to them, but you've got homework. You've got homework. You have to believe in their ability to achieve what they're there to have you help them with, you see. And it's not about action. It's about inspiration. It's about alignment. And then the action comes easy. So if anybody's having a hard time, you haven't done your work. You haven't, if anybody is having a hard time, you haven't seen them as they really are, and they're still experiencing the lack of that alignment. Now, we're not trying to make you responsible for their outcome, but you ask for it. In other words, as the instructor and as the one who inspires them, you see, as the teacher that is teaching alignment, we just want to convey to you, first you're teaching alignment, then you're teaching the activity. And if you skip the alignment part by you not getting aligned, then it's only activity, and then it's hard. Then it's hard and it's unsustainable. They'll come to your class and they'll do what you've whipped them into shape to do because you've motivated them in that way. And then they'll be done. And when they walk away, it won't last. Where if you teach them from the inside out, they'll be able to maintain.